Nick Roush and Adam Luckett here with Brad White a few days ahead of Father's Day. It's a busy recruiting season. Players are back on campus, and we wanted to get Brad in here because it is Father's Day, and there's a lot of demands on this job. It's year-round. It's June, seemingly a time when nothing's going on, but it is very busy. There's a bunch of campers coming on around here. A lot of people in this profession, it's tough. You're here year 6. That's very rare. It's also crazy that it's year 6 already. So how tough is it, though, just juggling college football coach, recruiting, visits, practices, and also being a father of 4?
Yeah, you got to be really intentional. That's the big piece of it. June itself is just that. I mean, it's about 3 weeks of mayhem. From when we start our first camp, really, that June 5th, and it runs all the way, essentially 2 full weeks, and then we'll be with sort of the players that last week all the way up to the 23rd. So the kiddos know Dad's going to be in and out a little bit, in June, and the nice thing is that Coach makes it really good in terms of bringing the families into the facility. So I get them here all the time. My boys are actually going to do the football camp. My daughter, she's at the age now. She's turning 12 here at the end of the month, just to add something to June, just to make it a little less busy, But she's around volleyball camps all around here at UK, Asbury, so they're bouncing around. But no, I get home at night, and the nice thing is, at least in June, the sun doesn't go down till late. So last night, we were playing 2-on-2 basketball. I had the 5-year-old, and then my 2 oldest were on a team, and it was Nuggets first heat to see who was gonna win the NBA title on an 8-foot basket. So no, that's as much as I love being a football coach. Nothing beats being a father. Like that's the joy of my life. So,
well, being a football coach too, do you get any sort of sense of responsibility where they aren't with their parents anymore? So do you have to kind of become a team dad, for the lack of a better term?
Oh, you do. I've got 2 boys at the house and 45 in the facility. Coach got the whole 110-man roster, but that if I'm recruiting them or they're on defense or they're in, I was seeing that outside linebacker room, I'm going to treat them like my own son, and that's they don't always like that, because just like my own son, you can't just always be their friend. You got to be able to give them a swift kick in the tail when they need it, and but we're there when they need them too. And so when they call up, they have an issue. They have a flat tire. Just about a week and a half ago, had a player that was about an hour and 20 minutes away from here and called up and had a flat tire and said, "Hey, Coach, what can I do?" And it's like, he knew how to change a tire, but he didn't have a tire. He has tire locks with no tire key. So now you got to go, help sort of work through that problem. Drive out there, help him, get him to an auto part store so we can get the key, go back, get the tire changed. And, it's part of, in a busy month of June, you didn't expect that to be 3 hours of your day, but it is. And but you know what? That's what it's about. And it's about those relationships, and everything's not going to your day's not going to be perfect. And so, no, it's a blast, and then you get to experience the joy, that a father gets when their son or daughter does something really well, right? You get those same moments on a football field. The wins aren't as fulfilling as watching the players fulfill their potential. And I think that's the same way, when you're a dad. Like, yeah, I was a former player, but I get more fulfillment watching my kids succeed at whatever they're doing, whether it's sports or they get an award in school or something like that, and the joy on their face, like that's way more than any award I could ever get for myself.
With Father's Day coming up, Brad, this is going to be my first Father's Day on Sunday.
Well, congrats.
That's big. You're an experienced veteran at this day. So do you have a checklist for a successful Father's Day? Is there something you have to have the kids do for you, or do you have like a setup for how you kind of handle this day?
You know what? When you become a Veterans on Father's Day, it's like getting older and your birthday. You tend to forget about it until they tell you, Happy Father's Day. Oh, that was today. Okay, I got it. Early on, just like when you're young and it's your birthday, you know your birthday months in advance. So you're like, oh, this is my first Father's Day, second Father's Day. I'm going to keep all the cards. And I still keep every card that I get from my kids. I have a box that's yay high, any birthday, all those things. I keep them because I know there's going to be a time that they're out of the house and, you can go back and look and then, get emotional, in a room by yourself. And But no specific checklist, and you know what? That's what makes it fun. Everyone's a little bit different. Sometimes it may be breakfast in bed. Sometimes they surprise you with a gift or the handmade stuff is what's always the best. And so.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned checklists, and I'm curious if you look up. We're gonna slightly switch gears here, but if I look up the stats, I go to cfbstats.com. Look up total defense, scoring defense, pass defense. It's 2 or 3, and it's been pretty consistent throughout your time here. So when you're looking through your checklist going from one year to the next, what's one of those things you want to check off? What's a goal for your defense going into fall of 2023 that you want to improve?
You know what? The one specific every year doesn't matter. It's always going to be that scoring defense. Like that's where I hone, because it doesn't matter how many yards they have, doesn't matter how good in any other stat. If they're scoring points, they're scoring points. If they're not scoring points, that's sort of the object. But I really try to focus. So other than that, I try to look at areas that I think are significant that we weren't great at. Because just like anything, the things that you focus the most on, you tend to get the most return. The things that you because you can't emphasize everything. You try, but where your primary focus. And going into last year, we had not been great on third down, like statistically. We had made big stops when we needed to, but statistically over the course of the season, we had been more in that 8, 9, even 10 range, when it came to third down. So we really focused on being a really good third down defense last year, and it paid dividends because it also we were third in the conference and almost second in third down defense, which was the best since I've been here by far, even in comparison to the 18 team. And it also made us the leader in first down defense. Because if they don't convert on third, they're not getting more first down. It sort of works hand in hand.
And then that helps with your scoring defense if you're getting off the field.
That's it. If you're off the field and they don't have opportunities to extend a drive, well, then it's going to help your scoring defense. So I thought those two. And then red zone. I think red zone's a really big one. And the statistic that you get for red zone isn't always, to me, the best statistic for red zone. Right now it's basically all the statistic you'll see from CFB is any scoring in the red zone. Well, you know what? If they had, say, 10 possessions and they had to kick 10 field goals, right, that's 30 points. If they made them all, that means that all they would need is go 50% on touchdowns and they got more points, right? That's 35. So we talk about, hey, just force field goals. And if we can be, under 50% touchdown percentage, that's sort of our goal. That's the objective. Force field goals. And hey, listen, they're not going to make them all. Unfortunately, last year, they made just about every field goal, and I think 3 kickers set personal records on distance. So we just couldn't buy one last year. But that's what I'm proud of. Like, you get in the red zone, rise up, force field goals, and it keeps you in a game.
Brad, you call plays from the field. Why did you decide to do that when you became the coordinator, and what do you think is the advantage for you as opposed to maybe being up in the box? Why do you want to be on the field?
All right. Well, that's an easy answer, and I can even tie it into Father's Day. For me, it's about being able to look in their eyes. When you call a play, you can look whether they're confident in it or not. You can look, if you're on the sideline, you can feel their emotion, you can see it in their body language, where if you're removed in the box, yes, it's a much sort of slower game. It's much more objective. It's kind of like you're playing with the 22, and I think you could make some really good adjustments. So there's some positives to obviously being in the box. I just don't think, for me personally, that outweighs the ability to be down there and, like, I call games, I adjust games based off of how I feel on the sideline. Hey, what is their emotion? If I say, hey guys, we're going to do this, and you can see in their eyes, like, yes, let's do that, call that, coach. All right, good, I know they're all in. If half of them are like, I don't know, coach, like, I don't feel great, like, don't, because they're not going to run it with confidence. I want them playing calls confidently. And that's no different than, I call my wife, hey, how are the kids doing? They're doing fine, or they're having a bad day. But, like, if you're looking at them eye to eye, you know exactly how they're doing.
No, you're right. And speaking of that, like, from looking, Kentucky gets actually pretty, a smart journalist. We know so much about sports, and there's some smart journalists who say that Kentucky's great in the transfer portal. I know you do quite a bit of work identifying players to target. Zion Childress is a kid who when he committed, people were like, Texas State, who's this guy? He ends up turning to be a real ball player at the end of the year, and there's a lot of momentum kind of going in this fall that he can be an impact guy. So is there something specifically when you're, watching tape of all of these guys that come in that you're kind of looking for when you're watching the tape?
Yeah, you know what? Number one, they got to fit what we are. Like that, like, take out the stats, take out, what they've put on tape. When you dig into their character aspect, are they wired the way our defense and our team is wired? Hey, do you like to work? Are you unselfish? Like that's a big piece of why we've had so much success here. Is we're really lucky to have a locker room and a unit that cares about each other, and they want success for the unit. And then if personal success comes, that's great, and we talk about that. That'll come if the unit's having success. So that's a big piece. And then a developmental aspect. Like we don't, We've gotten to a place right now where when we go into the transfer portal, specifically on defense, a lot of it is you look from a developmental standpoint. If you lost a sophomore in the portal, we're trying to fill that spot. Some teams are all trying to get, maybe he just one and done, get him in and out. If you had a specific need, you could always do that, like we had with Kedron last year, and but for the most part, we're looking for guys that'll settle in here and grow and develop, and so that they have multiple years to understand what we're all about. And we've had that, and Zion's like that. You forget, like, Zion still has 2 more years. You think about a Jordan Robinson. He played as a true freshman. At Livingston, was able to redshirt last year, so we still have him for 3 more. And as physically developed as he is, so it's JQ the same way. And I can go down through all the guys we've gotten, but they all have years, so that they can settle in to the system. Because you've heard me talk, like, our defense isn't just 2 defenses. It's not something you just pick up by walking in day 2. You know it all.
You gotta learn.
You've got to learn it, and there's some pieces to it. But you're also ready for the next level because you've played in a defense that has multiple fronts, multiple looks, multiple coverages, checks within a call, and that's what you're going to get at the next level.
Whether transfer portal or high school, it's popular commitment time, college football. We've seen that you're a fan of the Jamin Davis tweet on Twitter. Do you have a celebration in-house in the office with maybe the defensive staff or just you when you land a commitment?
You know what? Honestly, I don't. Just like if you ever watch on the sideline, it's not that I'm not excited that we get a turnover or a big play. There's usually little blips of emotion here or there. I try to stay just pretty even, because that's what I ask our guys to. I like our guys obviously to play with a little bit more emotion than maybe I show on the sideline, but it's not to get too high and too low. And I just want them to be able to look over to me and be like, whether it's a good play or a bad play, or just a, 90% of the plays are just right about average, and there's about 10% of the plays are either going one way or the other. That they look over and they're like, okay, coach is cool, he's fine, and I'll high five and get sort of more emotional on the sideline with them, but during the game, during a commitment, now trust me, like y'all high five and fist pump if we land a good guy as much as anybody, and I think my wife probably would tell you. She knows if we got one or lost one, when I walk through the door, where my mood is, but no specific, dance. But I do like the Jamin. I mean, is that not the greatest? Like, that shows the emotion that I don't outwardly express.
He's kind of the model I think you all try to sell at the recruit and develop.
Recruit, develop, and we like them long and athletic and strikers, and so it does. Whether it's a D lineman, a DB, a linebacker, it doesn't matter. That's a pretty good one.
Let's do some Father's Day rapid fire. We appreciate your time here, but I want to hit on a couple quick topics that we need to know where you stand at.
All right.
And you mentioned it earlier, playing sports. Best sport to watch as a spectating father. Best sport to watch your kid play.
Oh, great. Soccer.
Soccer,
or I love watching my daughter's volleyball games.
Interesting. Soccer outside, not for me. It's a little hot. Not as much scoring.
You gotta watch the dome up there.
Yeah, see, baseball gets me. It's like I just sit there and I'm like, no, other than the heat, nobody's sweating. I'm watching my son play. And I'm like, he might have burned in an hour and a half of sitting down and watching this game. He might have burned 15 calories standing there. So like I like them to be active. I like them to run around, and that's the beauty about soccer. It sort of nonstop keeps them moving, and at least there's some action for us as parents.
So you need on the opposite end, you need 20 minutes of quiet. Like it's just madness is happening. You got to pop something on the screen. Best distraction, television, movie, whatever it might be.
Ooh. By myself, no kids?
With the kids, for the kids to watch,
I can have.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I think it depends on age. So, the youngest one. So I've got one turning 12, a 9, a 5, and a 2. So I got the range.
Yeah, right.
So if I need the 2-year-old, she's on, and she rules the roost. If she's on a high, like you can put on Monster Machines. She loves that with Blaze and the Monster Machine. She'll sit there and watch. She loves that. The 5-year-old is huge into, like, believe it or not, like Premier League soccer.
Oh, wow.
But he loves those, like the YouTube videos that show like the bouncing balls, and like it they can watch it for hours if you let them, right? Where it's like a maze, and like it spins the ball and a ball will drop here, and then if it scores, that team gets a goal. If not, they just rotate through. It's kind of like almost like a pinball type deal, and so he'll do that. So you can do that on YouTube. I don't even know what it's called.
YouTube's great.
YouTube's awful. Yes,
it's
correct.
The best and
You gotta have limits now. Hey, 15 at a time, and we got to go out and we got to run around and we got to get the brain going again, re-stimulate. For Lincoln or Julia, like they're not big TV watchers,
good.
The
Especially
older
a little bit older.
Yeah, a little bit older.
They can read a book.
Yeah,
right.
No, like my daughter loves to read. Like she's like her mother. Like she could read all day long. I need to get better at that. Even at my age, I need to read more.
They could go to the KSR channel and find their dad on YouTube all the time.
Yeah,
exactly.
They get tired of seeing their dad.
On the grill, favorite thing to fire up on the grill?
Oh man, anything. But I've gotten a Traeger for Christmas. That was like the big Christmas gift that I got, which is just so much fun. Because I was always a a grill guy, and I know I'm not a charcoal. I'm more of a propane because I like.
It's quick. You don't have much time.
Hey, you know what? I've ingratiated myself with the new generation. I'm an instant gratification guy, right? So you can turn it on. You can go. Steaks, chicken. I love doing skirt steaks or ribeye. That's like I'm not a New York strip guy. Like I know a lot of people like it's ribeye. It's something fatty. But the Traeger just has changed the game because it does all the work for you a little bit, and it still comes out delicious.
Oh man, now I'm getting hungry. Top family vacation destination.
Ooh.
I know you did one year.
We did. We rotate a little bit. We did during COVID. We went down 30A, and so that was a blast. Last year we did a cruise. This year we're doing a cruise again with my side of the family. Last year was with Kate's side of the family.
Cruise has got to be nice for kids.
It is, and they can only go so far, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got the boundaries.
You're stuck in between the fence.
Yes. Yeah. Which with 4 of them, like it's nice. You need.
You have to have that fence there.
Built-in defense.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's it.
You don't need to be worried about defense
everybody's like,
year-round.
oh,
It's
okay.
vacation.
You went from man-to-man to, the second one, everybody talks, oh, you can still play man-to-man. Oh, 3, you got to play zone.
Nope.
And then 4, I'm like, we're 2 men down in hockey here. Like, they're definitely scoring.
They're in the prevent defense on the cruise.
Yes,
They're
we're
not on
definitely
islands out there.
We're definitely up 2 scores, 30 seconds left. We're just gonna let the ball get caught in front of us and
Rally.
Yep. I had a baby in October. I've had one in April. He had one in the summer. Best time of the year to have a baby.
Well, obviously, I'm not very good at that because I've got 3 in-season babies.
Oh.
And 1 right before. So
That's,
for a football coach, out of season would probably be best.
Yeah. March Madness, you could that sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Masters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I've always heard that. See, those are great for surgery, right?
Yeah,
surgery.
yeah.
So you got the excuse, Masters weekend or March Madness. But no, timing wise is never good. We got 2 in September, 1 in November, and then my daughter was June 26th, and so she went to so we played 12 games that year when I was at Air Force, and she went to 11 of the 12, including at Notre Dame, at Navy. It was -2 up in Fort Collins, Colorado, and my wife, she's an absolute trooper. She,
Wow.
Whatever,
Had a little-
5 months on, bundle up, let's go. We're going to the game. We're a football family through and through.
That is a football family, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. It is year 6. A lot of coaches they don't see 6 years at one place. So what is it about keeping your family here and sticking around when you've obviously had opportunities to go elsewhere?
Well, it's just that. It's family. My dad was in the military. He was Air Force. And so we sort of bounced around, 3 years in Massachusetts, 3 years in Wyoming, 3 years in Germany. And then we finally sort of settled he retired and we sort of settled in Rhode Island. But to have roots is it's really cool. My wife was able to do that in Virginia. She was able to stay in Virginia her entire life. And the fact that we were able to do 6 years in Indy, we're going into 6 here. I mean, to be in only two places for essentially 12 years, like that's special in this profession. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we can stay a lot more. That's, as long as I can keep Coach happy.
Well, we're happy you joined us today. I know it's a busy time of the year, but we appreciate you taking some time with us. Good luck this summer and this fall season, and we'll be catching up with you soon. Appreciate it, Brad.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.